waiting to see.
Did
Are
we
live?
make it?
We are live.
Oh.
We are live on 1390.
This is what it looks like. I almost forgot.
I know, it's been a while.
This is crazy.
It's been a while.
It has.
Yeah. Well, hello everyone. It's been a while since we've seen you. We were supposed to be on last week, right? And
Yes.
we weren't able to do that, obviously, because of our problems with 1390.
Right.
But we were able to get that fixed today.
Yes.
And so
people have asked what was wrong, Tom.
Yeah.
And it was the broadcasting piece within the big system. So once your broadcasting piece goes out, it affects everything. So, so that has actually been replaced and actually put into the system today. So we are good to go.
yeah, and maybe just another quick part of that explanation. When we have a problem like this, we can't just go to one person because there's actually three different groups that we have to work with in order to try and fix these kinds of problems. Mm-hmm. We have our AV group, we have Spectrum, and then we have Kevin's a part of that, and then we've also got other folks that are involved in that. So we got to try and get everybody together and kind of figure it out. And we thought the problem was with that one new part, and so we got the new part, and that fixed part of the problem, but it didn't fix the whole problem.
Right.
And so, it takes a while to kind of get through all that. So it's just not an easy, why can't you just go out and change a part and be done? And it just doesn't work that way.
And parts aren't just sitting places for you to go
well,
pick them up
that's the other
either.
part of it, right?
That's,
Trying to get stuff these days, it's not always easy. So, but Lisa, look who we have on stage with us today.
I know.
This is amazing.
We have two of our most favorite guests.
Oh, I bet you say that to everybody. But that's nice to hear anyway, Lisa.
Yes,
Isn't it,
yes, we're
Wiz?
glad you're here.
It's nice to hear that, isn't it?
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, well, that's why our committee meetings go so smoothly.
Yes, you
That
do.
might be me.
You, Tom?
I don't know.
I'm gonna get a second.
We're getting a little bit of feedback. Sorry,
Keep
y'all.
talking.
Keep talking.
What do we want
Okay.
to talk about? Why don't we talk about him, because he can't respond.
What? Hello? What?
Oh, he
Okay,
can respond.
He can hear.
He can respond.
So, in
responding.
case you don't recognize the two residents that are with us, we have Jim Mabry,
Thank you.
closest to Lisa, and then I don't know, what name are you going by these days? You were Brick Mason at one time. You've been, I don't know.
What was that lady's name I was one time?
Yeah, I forgot what her name was. Was it
You were dating on the dating show.
Yeah,
Oh, Lamont Crankley. I've been Lamont.
Lamont Crankley.
Lamont
Yes,
Crankley
of course.
one time.
Yes.
Yeah.
How can we forget that name, right?
Yes, right.
So, but Wiz Horner, everyone. So that's the normal name you go by.
It's fairly normal, yes.
Yeah, fairly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're glad you guys are here. And
Thank
so, as we go through the first part of our program, jump in if you have some thoughts or comments. But we're going to save you all for the last because it's the best for last, right?
Well, we'll be
Very
glad.
good.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, Lisa, let's get started.
Okay. So we always start with the trivia. So Wiz, I'm going to need your help on identifying the prize for us. So the question today is from Dick Witt, and the winner will be a bottle of wine. And what do we have today, Wiz?
We have a wonderful bottle of Le Bleu Ultra Pure Water.
Wiz, I think it's the other bottle.
Wiz, were you sipping from the wine already?
Well, the top was a little loose, so I thought I'd better check it out to be sure none of the vintage got hurt.
Okay.
What we have here is a bottle of Turtle Bay. You should be familiar with this.
Oh, really?
It's from Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you're familiar with that, I believe.
Yes. I started that company.
Did you?
Yeah,
Really? Well,
yeah.
they've moved to New Zealand now. And
I didn't go with them. That's the reason why I don't have it anymore. So, yeah.
Good riddance, I would think.
Yeah, probably.
Imported and bottled by Turtle Bay Cellars, Napa, California.
Oh, yeah.
And this should be just wonderful, and whoever wins, I'll let you know how it was.
You might be fighting Brian for this,
Could be.
afterwards,
Might be.
I think I could take him.
I think you could. I think you could too.
We can just share.
Oh, Brian's being very nice. He said they could just share. So, all right.
Okay, so if you know the question today, you're going to call Michelle, 336-389-4103. 336-389-4103. So here's the question. Which is the world's only flightless parrot?
Oh, flightless parrot.
Which is the world's only flightless parrot? I didn't know there was one, so there's only one. There's only one flightless parrot.
One flightless parrot.
Yes.
I was trying to call in, but my phone's off.
Do you know the answer?
Yes.
Okay, don't say it.
Okay.
Don't say it.
Oh, phone's ringing. Michelle's running out of the
Oh,
room.
look at
Okay.
that.
We'll see. Well, while she's doing that, let's do a quick COVID update.
Okay.
So, a little bit of information to share today about COVID. I was doing a little bit. We had somebody that walked into.
Oh,
Oh.
good-looking guy, though.
Wow.
Wow. Ooh,
Yeah, we had somebody just walked
Looks
into
very
our
similar.
audience that we weren't
Yeah.
expecting.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Looking,
Okay.
good.
Yeah. So, yeah, let me get back and try and focus on COVID here. So, they have the different strains that have been coming and going and those kinds of things. And we're up to BA5 now, I think, and that's
Yeah.
the new dominant strain. And with that strain comes, they've been seeing higher infections and reinfections as well coming from that. But I was reading about it, and they really do feel like that this could be the new normal now that we've got with COVID. And BA5 is kind of an example of that, with it just, probably more contagious, but, less sickness that comes along with it and less hospital, people going into the hospital. So, as a matter of fact, when I pulled the Department of Health and Human Services information today, it hasn't changed a ton in the last, really in the last several weeks, but they remember they kind of gear this based upon particles, virus particles in wastewater. So that's gone up a little bit from last week to this week. The actual emergency room visits is the same as what it was this week as it was last week, which is 5.5%. Cases actually for the state were down a little bit this week compared to last week, but hospitalizations are up a little bit this week compared to last week. But even at all that, all of our levels are pretty much at the levels we were at back, if you remember back in October, November when things were fairly low. That's still the levels we're at. So we're still kind of maintaining those same kind of levels. Vaccines and boosters, we continue to do well. And speaking of vaccines, you may have seen that Novavax was approved by the FDA recently. And so that is the first protein-based vaccine that's been approved. And so I think they're hoping that folks that were afraid to do that mRNA vaccine with the Moderna or with the Pfizer would be more willing to maybe go and take the more traditional vaccine, which is what this really is to be considered. So CDC has not approved that yet, but they're getting there. So, and then here at River Landing, we continue to have positive residents, positive staff. We're probably been getting 2 to 3 residents a week and 2 to 3 staff members a week that are getting it. And so, if you're a resident and you get COVID, please make sure you're contacting Cindy Hawks so she can go through our protocols with you and talk to you about quarantining and those kinds of
Right.
things. And that's very important for us to be able to keep that up.
Right.
And so, like I said, I think we're just kind of in this pattern, and we might be in this pattern a while. I mean, this may carry us all the way through the end of the year. I mean, who knows at this point? And I think, we just kind of changed our strategy a little bit when it comes to COVID. We can't buckle down and not have things going on at River Landing. If we shut everything down here, we might be shut down for months,
Right.
and we're just not going to do that again.
Good.
That's just not, I don't think that's just the way to handle it anymore. Especially since, even people that are getting COVID are not going to the hospital typically. So, nobody wants to get COVID. I don't want to get COVID, just like anybody else doesn't want to get COVID. But, the facts are now that, people are not getting as ill, and it's becoming a little bit more like the flu, I think. And so I think we're going to start seeing it be treated a lot more like the flu for the future here. So that's kind of been our philosophy, and that's the way we're going to keep running things.
And I do know, Tom, there are people who have different views on what they're willing to take risk-wise.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's a personal decision to make. We all know some safety precautions we can do, getting the vaccine, If you want to wear a mask, that's completely up to you. It really is a personal decision at this point.
Right.
There's not any mandates in place, and it's really what you're comfortable with.
Yep.
So,
So, Wiz, are you feeling uncomfortable at all?
No, I was looking at the gentleman out there, and he looks like a guy over at the MOS office.
the Mo's office.
Yeah, the Mo's office. He looks a lot like Tom Weber, but
I thought it was Tim Weber.
he
Tim, I
looks
thought it
he
was
looks
Tim.
older since I've seen him last. I don't know what's wrong with him. Maybe he's
I thought he was just a paid audience member to float around and fill
Oh,
up the chairs.
is that what it is? Yeah.
no. I don't think
No?
he should be paid at all.
Okay. Well, it's nice to have company anyway.
It is
here,
nice,
A live
yeah, it
audience.
is nice.
I say live.
Maybe we could have him come up later and we could talk to him.
Maybe so.
Yeah, that would be
I-
nice.
yeah.
As long as it
Let me
doesn't
jot
cut-
down a few questions for him.
But we don't want to take time away from you two.
Well, that's true
Yeah,
too.
I
good
mean,
point.
that's-
you
that's
know,
true.
that's
Good point.
because it is
Maybe
all
that
about-
could be the subject of another show.
Yeah, yeah.
We have a
You know,
huge
when-
fan. We have a huge fan club out there waiting to
Yeah,
hear
There
about
you go.
it.
There you
Exactly.
go. There you go.
He's most of it.
He's shaking his head, yes. Okay, Lisa, we got some other things to talk
We
about before we
do.
get to our
we do.
guests here today.
Yep. So some other things to go over. How about an airport update?
Yeah, so
We've had some questions about
well,
that.
There's two sides to this. One I'm still working on. One that's kind of just happened. You all probably saw we closed the clubhouse for dinner one night a few weeks back. We had the city of High Point was here doing a public meeting on the new zoning that they have for the airport. They do this study about every couple of years, and they look at the zoning, and based upon the noise cone that they have, they adjust it. And so they've adjusted the zoning again, and we actually have gone out of zone 3 and are now in zone 4 now, which means that if we were to build anything in the future, we don't have to do the standards that we have done in the past with all the extra sound, how should I say it, sound adjusting equipment and all the building materials that we would use to kind of keep the sound out of houses and like we did with the hybrids and the houses up there. So that's really good news, I think, from our perspective, because what that tells me is hopefully that they have felt like that the noise from the airport is kind of being more condensed, and it's, we're more on the periphery of it now than we are right in the middle of it. So that was good. And then, I know that I've had a couple residents say something to me about that they felt like that the air traffic had been a little bit more in the last several months.
Yeah.
I did hear from another resident, and so I believe this is true, but this is what I'm checking on, was that one of the runways, one of the major runways was under repair, and that they were adjusting and using another runway. So I want to verify that and kind of see what's going on with that. But I'll try and have that for next week when I talk through that a little bit. So, good news, I think, from the airports as far as things go.
How about a road update? People have been talking about the stakes at the front of the property.
So we've mentioned that on a previous show, but we could talk about that again. So the state now is running the expansion. Sandy Ridge Road is supposed to expand from 2 lanes to 4 lanes in the future with a median divider in it. And that really got put on hold because the state kind of ran out of money. When they had all the hurricanes a couple years ago, and with all of the COVID money and everything else, they kind of ran out of funds. Well, so what we're understanding is that they've got at least some partial funding towards the road. I don't know if it's all of it or not. We're still trying to find out some of those statistics, but one thing I can tell you is that they have gone as far as to start staking out the road for right-of-ways and for easements, and once the road is staked out, then their right-of-way folks that they usually hire, the state hires to come talk to the property owners, will start that process. And so that's what we're seeing now. They're staking out some of the property, and then we are going to be talking to them and negotiating with them. And we've put an easement in, or we've put a request for waiver for our fountain that's out front, because I think they're kind of right on the corner of it and may fall into that little bit of that easement or that right-of-way area. So, we've got some conversations to have with them about that. But if things, and I did talk to someone about this a couple months ago with the state, and they said, yeah, well, we might be buying right-of-way property by, this year and into next year. And if things go really well, which I don't know that they will, but if things go really well, he said, we might start by 2024 on the road. And, the other thing we don't know is, last I heard from them, they were not going to start at the bottom end of Sandy Ridge Road. They're going to start at what I call the top end, which is the north end, which is up by the farmer's market up there. And I can tell you, if they start up there, it's going to be probably a couple of years before they even get down to us. So I think we're still pretty far away from them doing it. Although I think we all would agree, we need it. I actually think we need that 4-lane road out front. Much as I don't want to have to go through the construction of it, I think we're going to need it. And then, along with that, we've been told that we will get a traffic light put right at John Knox, because they're going to straighten out Kendale and bring it right up to meet at where our front entrance is, and that'll be a perfect place for a light. So I think we're going to see it at some point in our future, but I don't know if it's going to happen in 2 years, 6 years, or, am I going to be retired and living here, 20 years from now going, yeah, they keep saying they're going to put that road out front. And so I just don't know what's going to happen with that. I guess we'll just have to see how that works out.
Okay. We are in need of some volunteers. So the Resident Council Hospitality Committee is in need of volunteers. The role consists of delivering welcome bags and reaching out to new residents when they move in. If you're interested, please call resident Katie Scroggins.
Cool. That's great.
Good, yep. Notary services, there will be no notary services July 20th through the 22nd and July 25th. They'll resume on July 26th. If you need something notarized, please be sure to call Michelle by July 19th.
I tried to convince her to leave her notary stuff with me and just let me go ahead and take care of it, but
Oh, boy.
she was not willing.
She didn't trust you,
She
Tom?
wasn't willing to do that for some reason. I don't know why.
Talk about a lawsuit waiting to happen.
She said something about an oath, and maybe she said oath instead of oath.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's what.
I'm not going.
Paint pouring classes are back. So has anybody done paint pouring before?
My wife has done. She really enjoys it.
Well, the classes are back, and you can sign up in the book up front by the elevator, by the desk by the elevator up there. The class fee is $10 each, payable in advance at the front desk. In addition to the paint pouring, they have lined up several other events throughout the rest of the year: sketching, watercolor, photo retouching, wreath making, collages, Christmas ornaments, pumpkin painting, and much, much more. So you're going to want to watch CareMerge for details. And I will say, last night, Kathy Hoyt and Peggy Hamlin did a staff paint pouring class for us.
Did this show get any better than this?
So we've just had some audience participation,
Someone-
and they asked if this show gets any better than this. Wiz, would you like to comment?
Yeah, that's one of the more intelligent things I've ever heard that person say.
Oh, okay. So you know this person.
I have a comment when we get down to the referral
Oh,
thing
okay.
that might
Okay.
fit in with
Okay.
our audience member.
So getting back to the paint pouring class, Kathy Hoyt, Peggy Hamlin did a staff one for us last night. And we had a wonderful time, so thank you to the both of you for doing that for us. It was so much fun. So I can see how your wife
Yeah.
enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. We actually had somebody from the MOS.
MOS.
Yep, the MOS from up
Mo's,
there.
Mo's.
Lisa,
Met
now you know
Mo's.
better than that. You know
Well,
it's
this,
not
I'm
MOS.
going with Wiz here.
SOM?
We know it's MSO.
Oh, Oh,
better known as our corporate offices.
oh, okay.
Oh, so we actually had Kelly join us last night, so
Oh,
that
very
was a
good.
lot of fun to be able to
yeah,
have
she would be a
her
lot-
back down here at River Landing. Okay, Wiz, we're up to Referral, so get ready for your comment. I'm not sure what you're going to say.
I'm not
so.
either, but I'll figure
Okay.
out something.
Referral is delighted to report that 20 written submissions have been received from 16 different authors for the River Landing writing competition. The works will be adjudicated over the summer and results announced at a writing gathering in the fall.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. The fall term Referral will be presenting about 14 different courses that will start in September, October, November. A sneak preview will appear in the August Encompass, and the full menu will be in the September edition. Registration for fall series will be between September 6th and the 13th.
One
So that's
comment
coming
on
up.
that, Lisa. One
Yes.
of the referral courses is going to be on UFOs.
UFOs.
Oh, UFOs.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And one of the things that the presenter is going to talk about is that there are aliens here, that they have come here, and they tend to disguise themselves.
Okay.
And they show up in different places,
Okay.
different ways.
Yeah.
Okay.
They tend to wear blue a lot.
Okay.
And because they have, sort of like me, follically challenged,
Yes.
they wear hats and
Okay.
down over their eyes, because their eyes tend to glow in the dark at night. Yeah, which makes
That's
it
why.
difficult if they should happen to find a mate to sleep at night, because, their eyes are glowing and
Oh.
reflects off of the mirrors and so forth.
Okay.
So that's
okay.
a good question.
Yes.
So are there residents that are aliens? Because I know of someone else that had done almost this exact thing, not too long ago, I think.
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, I think so. I
Now,
think so.
my understanding is most of them are Duke University grads. Is that correct?
Yeah, probably, because it does take a certain intellect
I see.
to be able to do that. It's an intellect that people at places that go to school, maybe out in the western part of the state,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
they usually can't hack
They
it.
can't hack that.
Can't
I
hack
see.
it, no.
Okay.
Okay.
So-
Well,
okay.
as soon as you said the blue, that kind of made me think
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the fact that it could be Duke.
Sorry to interrupt there, but I thought that was important to put that out.
We had another comment from the audience.
It's something about it being boring. I don't.
Yes, I'm not sure, but he said it when you were talking, Wiz.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
not sure what he meant by that.
Well, not all aliens have a higher intellect.
Okay, that's what it is. There's varying degrees of intellect, is what you said?
What's he doing over there with Michelle? I think, do we need to get some help for her?
Do we need security?
We sure do.
Oh, honey cakes.
Oh, we need honey cakes. Okay. Okay, let's see.
Where did you leave off, Lisa?
Let's continue with the Referral update. The River Landing Conversation Series will begin weekly, broadcast on 1390 at 3 p.m. on Friday, September 23rd. There is 12 conversations this time, each featuring a River Landing resident or staff member. So that's pretty amazing. That's a lot to pull off.
Yeah, it's cool.
12 conversations coming, starting in September. Jim Kalacki gave me the annual appeal update. Annual appeal is progressing well, and we have received $70,500 of the $150,000 goal for 2022. If you have a family member or friend or neighbor whom you wish to honor for their birthday or some other special occasion, consider making a gift in their name to the annual appeal at River Landing. If you have questions, please be in touch with Marisa Ray at the foundation or Helen and Jim Kalacki, who are the resident co-chairs of this year's appeal.
Yeah. And we thank those that actually have contributed
Absolutely.
towards the annual appeal.
Yep.
And I've said this a lot, but I'll keep saying it. If the annual appeal is not something that you're interested in being able to give to, you do not have to give to that.
Yep.
Just like any of the other groups and organizations that we sponsor here or that we like to support. So please feel free to just give to those that have meaning to you. Thank you.
Okay, we have the CNA class graduation coming up.
Yes.
So I think, Jim, have you been to one before?
Yes,
I thought you had.
yes, it was very impressive.
Okay, it's pretty neat to come
It's
to.
very neat.
And hear a lot of their stories
Yeah.
of of starting the class and inspirations for further growth too.
This one will be a little bit different than the ones we've had in the past because we have now are running the daytime class and the nighttime class on the same schedule. So actually for this graduation, it'll be both the night and daytime classes graduating. So I think we have 17 of
Yeah.
the 20
Yep.
that started will be graduating, which is great.
That's
a
really
great
good.
percentage for us.
So that's next Wednesday, July 20th, 11 a.m. So you'll see that up on Care Merge, but mark your calendars for that date, and it's right here in the multipurpose room.
Right.
The annual silent auction, we've started the collections of donations beginning of July, and we will take them through the end of July. So looking for new, gently used items such as furniture, household items, decor, and handcrafted items. So thank you all for your donations so far.
Can you sign me up for one of those Pearl classes that that bald-headed man up there was talking about? I think I'm about to get sick, and I don't say that Pearl.
Okay.
Sign me up for that bald-headed man's class.
Wiz, would you like to
Well,
share?
I don't think people heard what was said.
They did. Would you like
Lisa.
to share what the men in the audience said?
Yeah, he's obviously confused. He confused furl with hurl. And he talked about being so bored here that he was afraid that he might have to hurl. Not sure that that's something that we should talk about,
Probably not.
Probably
no.
not.
Right. And
But
I
he-
think I was very clear by saying furl.
Yes.
I think
I
you
did
were.
articulate.
It was well
Okay,
articulated.
okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, very,
Thank you.
very good.
It just,
But I'm
then
not
we'll-
surprised from whence it came.
Okay, okay. Well, I have one last update. Let's hope he's not bored with this one, because it has to do with Brightspire. Okay?
it does.
It does. So the Olympics. It's time to start to sign up for the Brightspire Olympics. It's now through July 15th, which would be tomorrow. So you need to be signing up for the Olympics. Stop by the Wellness Center to sign up. So I think that was exciting.
yeah.
That wasn't boring.
Not
No.
for everybody, apparently.
Of course, if you do too much during the Olympics, you might hurl at that point.
Well, that's true too.
right?
Well, you got to pace yourself.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do.
You know,
right.
that's an
That's-
idea. Maybe another sport that we could have is curling.
For a second, I thought you were going to say hurling.
We do have some curling enthusiasts here.
I bet we do.
Yeah, we do.
I bet we do.
Yeah.
Yep, they go to Raleigh and some places like
Really?
that. Yeah.
Oh,
You remind me not to talk with them.
Okay.
well, Tom, we're to the best part.
We are we?
We are.
Are we done?
This is the non-boring part. So
Okay,
our guests
yeah.
should be excited right now.
They are. I could tell. You could see it in their faces. They are really stoked about this. So,
Yeah.
gentlemen, please take over.
Take it away.
I'm glad he's going first.
Okay.
Is
okay.
Wiz going first? Okay.
Yeah,
Wiz.
Wiz is going
Take
first.
it away, Wiz.
Jim and I are here to talk about the Employee Scholarship Program. And it was started back in 2016. I think it was 2015 when Mary Walters Schaefer passed away. A very young lady who was head of our marketing department here, and it was a shock to all of us. And several residents and a number of folks on the staff felt that it would be good to have some sort of a memorial for her because she cared so much for the residents and was certainly a strong believer in education. And so a memorial was discussed and came to the Residents Council. John Hoyt was the chair of the Resident Council at that time. I was the vice chair then. And we started the River Landing Employee Scholarship Fund. And that was set up to help staff who were continuing to pursue their education. Didn't make any difference what they were going into. It did not have to necessarily be related to what their work was here.
That's right.
But it was something that we felt not only would enrich them, but also enriched River Landing if they were continuing their education. So donations came in from the residents, from a number of folks on the staff here. We had some vendors who also participated, and of course Murray's family did that.
Yeah.
And we set up a scholarship committee, and the first year it was in 2016, we didn't have too much to work with. We had about $3,000 that we had that we were able to use at that point, and we had 6 employees then, and they were able to share in some manner of that $3,000. And the second year, Charles and Alice Fisher, who had been residents here, set up a foundation also, and with the help of their family. And that was very good. And we stepped up the amount of money to $7,000. And I know we had 7 employees, I think, at that point. $5,000 was distributed. And over the years, this has continued to grow.
Yeah.
And last year, we had 13 employees, and we had $18,000 that we were able to utilize for scholarships. And that included 4 employees who also got some tuition fund.
Tuition reimbursement, that's
out of
correct.
out of your funds.
That's right.
And this year, 2022, we've got 17 scholarship winners, and they will be sharing pretty close to $25,000 this year. So you can see how much that has grown just in the last 6 years. And we added 2 new scholarship award funds this year. Residents John and Verna Kroom established the John and Verna Kroom Educational Fund, and that's just one of many things that John and Verna have done for River Landing.
Yes.
And also Regina Shepherd established the Burton and Regina Shepherd Educational Fund in memory of her husband, Bert. So thanks to all of the donations that we've had over the last 16 years, we're up to close to, well, matter of fact, a little bit over $74,000 that we have awarded in 6 years to employees here.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it's really grown tremendously. The combined value of all the funds that we had is somewhere in the neighborhood of about $700,000, which is a very nice neighborhood to be in.
I mean, amazing when you think about the time frame.
Yeah, what we have done, that's exactly right. And the fund is administered by the Bright Spire Foundation Board, and we can take 3.5% of whatever that total happens to be over a period of quarters. You probably don't want to explain that, though, do you?
Boy, I sure don't, because
Yeah,
I have a hard
good.
enough time. The last 12, 13, 16 quarters of the I don't know. I can't even talk about it now, so.
We need to have Marissa talk to
Yeah,
us about that.
she's got it down.
She's pretty good. At any rate, we can take 3.5% of what essentially the total is in the fund at that point, and that can be used for the annual awards. And also the resident council that Jim is a member of puts in $1,000, and Tom and Lisa also put in $1,000 from River Landing Management. Some interesting examples that we have had over the years. We had a bistro cashier who wanted to be a CNA. So she's gotten in, we got her into that program. We had a server who wanted to get into hospital administration, is working on a master's degree for that. And we always have a lot of nursing folks, LPNs, who want to move on to RNs, and in many cases get their bachelor's degree in nursing. And we had one really interesting thing, and I believe this was a lady, as I recall, who had never graduated from high school. And she wanted to do something to get that high school diploma, and she was kind of strapped for cash. So we gave her a small grant so that she could go to a community college and get some training so that she could go back and take her GED, which she did, so she was able to get her high school. So we're talking about people not only working on their master's degrees, but somebody who was just working to get her GED. This year, we've got a homemaker who wants to be an electrician. And this young man, 18 years old, he wants to own his own electrical company someday. And I no doubt in my mind he's going to be able to do that too.
Yeah, well.
A bistro employee who is working on their theology degree. And again, we have several nurses in the skilled area who are working on their BS in nursing. The donations that residents make, anybody can make, are tax deductible. Marissa Ray over in the Management Services Office, better known as the MSO, can be contacted, and she can work with you and how to get that money in the right fund. Now, Jim Mabry's going to talk a little bit about the process that the employees go through, and also the award ceremony. And Jim, as I said, is on the is on the Residents Council and is a representative from them on our committee. Jim?
Well, thank you. I'm going to explain really what we basically do and then just review once again who the current members are.
Yeah, I'll talk about
Oh,
that.
you will talk about that? Okay, that's great. That's good. But we're basically coordinating a variety of events related to the Employee Scholarship Committee. We schedule the major activities that really run from March through July. We invite residents to consider joining the committee because we are now on a rotating system so that you have a 4-year term and people are going off now. There are 4 at-large residents, and so there's a new position available each year, and we invite residents who'd like to participate on the committee to send in their applications. The term begins for them in April, so the applications will probably come in around, February or March, Lisa, and we try to do that. And then we review those applications. We schedule interviews with the people who have submitted the applications and select a new member. Then we move to reviewing and updating the Employee Scholarship Committee application form. Does that need updating? Any changes we need to make? And excuse me, we make sure the employees are aware that the forms are available and ready, and this year they needed to be into Lisa or Tom by June 1st. Once that's done, we review the applications, and then we schedule interviews with the staff members who expressed an interest in the award ceremony, to be in the award ceremony. Also in May, we were, we had actually 2 afternoons that we devoted to the interviews. And do I see flashing lights? 2 afternoons we devoted to interviews, running from about noon to 4 o'clock. And it was a very interesting process to do that. What we're interested really in learning is what do the staff members, the employees, want to do? What do they like about their current job? What are their career goals? What's motivating to move to those career goals? Wiz just outlined a wide range of opportunities that they're looking at. And who are their mentors? Who are people they admire or look up to? What are the things they're proud of in their life? These really become what I think are wonderful conversations with these staff members. Their length of service, Wiz, I don't know whether you covered that, about 6 months to 20 years who we had this year. And they work in the various areas, healthcare, dining. Many of you know a lot of these people. And one applicant I thought was particularly interesting said that every penny counts, and I would be grateful if I got 1 penny from the scholarship committee. Well, fortunately, thanks to the money that Wiz has just reviewed, it's going to be a lot more than a penny. And so we already said that 17 staff members will be receiving scholarships. This is my 2nd year on the committee, and I have really enjoyed it. I think it's one of the most fascinating programs I've participated in. The applicants are so impressive. They're really bright, committed people. They love their jobs, they love their coworkers, but most important, what I think we hear consistently is they love the River Landing residents. I mean, they get an opportunity to meet with them, wherever they are. They're in dining or in nursing. They really form a close relationship with their residents. And in fact, one of them said one time, you can't do that at a fast food place. And they like that. And so they're very determined to advance themselves. And I think that these applicants are terrific examples of the world's best staff. Remember those flags we had done and put those out? Well, I think these people are exemplary for that. And as Tom noticed in wrapping up some of the interviews, said one time, some of these individuals may not come back to River Landing, but wherever they go, they're River Landing alums and ambassadors. And so I think it's great having them out there. Now, the award ceremonies, we already said, is going to be on Saturday, and so please put that on your calendar. And if you want to see a great return on your investment of these scholarship funds, come in and meet these people. Meet their families, meet their friends. And we've already talked about the CNA program. We've already talked about the tuition assistance program. And I just think, again, that's an indication of Riverlanding's commitment to the employees. Now, before I turn it back to Wiz, I do want to compliment Wiz. He's already spoken about how this got started, but he's one of the initiators, and he serves so well as our chair of the committee. And it's been a pleasure for me to work with him. Someone else I'd like to single out is Michelle Jones. She has done an incredible job arranging meetings, setting up all these schedules, the certificates that you get on Saturday. Michelle is printed. They look terrific. I thought she'd sent them out and had them done somewhere, but no, she's done it.
She is
And so it's just been a remarkable experience, Tom, and I'm privileged as a resident council person to be able to participate in this, and enjoyed really working with Wiz despite what people might say or think or question my taste. But it's been fun. Do we have anybody left out there now?
That's good information. That hair challenge guy talks too much, though. That's what the hair challenge men do. I've got to go.
Oh,
Hair challenge man talks too much.
You know, I think we kind of lucked in because the guy's leaving. I guess he didn't want to stick around for some closing comments. Bye. I did want to mention in closing,
The door's closed.
as he strolls out. Maxine Foster was one of the original folks who was on the committee 6 years ago. She rotated off last year, and we put out an announcement looking for people who were interested in being on the committee. And because we try to alternate it every year, man, woman, to kind of keep that division correct, we interviewed 9 ladies for replacement. Nine ladies were interested in this. We selected Kathy Reichert. She's going to be on for the 4-year term. And the other members are Gay Brown and Harvey Loud and Jim, of course, and myself serving as chair. I rotate off this year, as does Jim, because he's off of the resident council,
At the end of
and someone
December.
else will be coming in to fill. Our two slots. I want to thank Tom and Lisa, and particularly Michelle, for all their time and the talent and support that they put into the program, because this would not make it, guys, if you guys were not behind it. And I know how much time you put in on it, and it's a great help. And it just shows what you think of the employees. And because you think of that of the employees, that means you think that much of us as the residents too. So that's good. So a reminder that our program award ceremony is this Saturday, the 16th, 11 o'clock. There will be refreshments. That always brings people in. So please come and honor and support and congratulate our employees. And of course, they will have their families here for the most part. And it's really fun to be able to meet not just the employees in that type of an experience, but also their families, which is really super. So we appreciate the time to be able to come and talk about it a little bit.
Oh, we need to say thank you to the
Yes.
two of you for taking the time to come and talk about it.
No.
And this is such a worthwhile thing.
Yes.
I mean, we've talked about this before, but it's a shame we can't show the residents the interview process. It's such a special thing to sit there and listen to each one of our staff members come in and just talk through. They are as nervous as can be, too, almost to a T. Almost every one of them are nervous coming in, but they're so good about answering questions, and it's so heartfelt. And I can't think of a better place to be than sitting there listening to our staff members. And it really gives me. Sometimes you hear about today's youth and, what's our country going to look like, 20 years from now when the youth are running our country. I'll tell you what, if they're like our staff members, we're going to be in good shape, because
I agree.
we've got some great folks who are well-spoken, who are well thought out, and really, I was surprised at how many 18 and 19-year-olds want to know what they want to do for the rest of their lives. And this is what they want to do. I mean, not even just, I think I want to do this, or I think I
Right.
want to do that. No, I've been thinking
They're
about this, I
determined.
want to do this, and it's fun. It really is fun for me to sit there and listen to the staff. And you all do such a good job with asking questions and really getting that information out of them. So, like I said, I wish we could kind of bottle that up and show
that'd be neat.
residents. I think you all would just, it would touch your hearts.
Yeah.
It would absolutely touch your hearts. So,
Would.
so thank you.
It's a
Thank you,
good
guys.
committee. It's been fun to work with all of them. I mean, so, what else? We leave anything out?
No, it's too bad that the visitor had to leave, because I had a couple of choice words for him, but I guess I'll have to catch him at another time.
Yes.
Yes,
I'll-
You know-
I'll
absolutely.
try to get over to the MOS
Yes,
office. What
there
is
you
it?
go.
MOS office.
I don't know, now that we've seen both you kind of in this role and now this MSO person in this role, I don't know who did it better.
Oh, I think I handled it much better.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. When he was up here and I was out there, he was a nervous wreck.
He was kind of,
He was.
it really kind of got to him, that you were out there in the audience. And he tried, for you all that couldn't see it, he tried to imitate everything that Wiz did to him the day that Tim was up here.
Oh.
He tried to imitate everything that
He
Wiz
did.
had done to him. And he was doing his best,
He did
with
good.
wearing the
He
hat
really
and
did.
not looking up and just, so it was, he was really trying to get you, Wiz.
I really
So it was
particularly like the
payback
Hurl
time for
comment.
Wiz, is what it was, right?
He was more talkative than you were
Yeah,
when you were in the
yeah,
audience.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt.
You didn't,
No, I
right,
didn't.
right, exactly.
He's
So,
head of MOS, so, he should be able to talk more.
oh,
That was great. Well, guys, thank you both for being on. It's always
Glad to
it's
do
always fun to have you on here. Of course, you never know what to expect anymore when you're on here, but it was great having you on here. And I think we've only got one last thing to do, right, Lisa?
right, so we have the trivia winner.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question was, which is the world's only flightless parrot? So, did you
say
know
that-
the answer?
Could you say that again?
The world's only flightless
Flightless.
parrot.
Very good.
And the answer is,
Go ahead, Jim. You know it?
No, I'm not going
don't?
to.
I thought you knew it.
I knew it off of the sheet.
Oh, you knew it off the
Okay.
sheet.
I'm not
Okay.
gonna-
okay, I don't know if this is how you pronounce it,
Uh-oh.
Oh,
so I was hoping
Be careful.
one of you would, one of you
Oh,
might
I-
know. But
Oh.
is it a cockapoo?
that's great.
No,
Is
that's
that
a
it?
dog. No,
I thought
that's
that was a dog.
It's a dog.
This is Kakapo.
Cockapoo.
Cockapoo?
It's a cockapoo. That's how they say it.
Not 4 o'clock, isn't it?
So the winners, Jim and Helen Kalaki.
Oh, you're kidding?
Oh,
Yes,
my next door neighbors.
congratulations.
I'll bring this over to them. Next
No,
door
this,
neighbors.
here, Jim, Helen. Oh, okay.
Oh, gosh. So that's great, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And-
Lisa was so worried about
Oh my gosh, I'm like, how do you say this? Because I thought a cockapoo was a dog.
She goes, am I saying that right? Is that right? Is that how you say it?
I don't know how else you'd say this.
I don't either.
I'm not even going to try.
Cockapoo? It
Besides,
depends
Wiz,
on
I don't
think you're
know.
thinking of a Shih Tzu.
With a cockapoo?
Well,
I-
Wiz said it was a dog, so I think that's what he was thinking.
Is
so.
that what you were thinking, Wiz?
I wasn't thinking at all.
I think there's another program on 1390 ready
Well,
to
there
come
probably
up.
Is it? I bet it is. I'm sure there is.
Because
I'm
the
sure there
programs
is.
are backed up
They're
right
backed
now. They're
up,
ready to
so-
go.
Switch over to 1391.
Yeah.
You've been a wonderful audience, even if we couldn't see
have been a
you.
wonderful
And
audience.
please show up on Saturday.
Yeah, that's the main
Absolutely.
thing. Be there
Yes.
Saturday at
Yes.
11 o'clock.
You won't be sorry. It'll be
No,
good.
it
good.
really truly
Yeah,
is.
it'll
It's
be
an amazing event.
And also just want to do a reminder for next week because we're on again. We're on again next Wednesday, July 20th, 3 p.m. And this is the semi-annual update meeting. So tune in 1390.
Can we
Boy, I
be-
don't want to
can we-
be here for that.
Oh, I thought you wanted
Yeah, I
us
don't blame
back.
you.
I
I
thought
do
they were
want to
gonna-
say, I don't think Mary Walter Schaefer's family is going to be able to come this
Oh, is
year.
that right?
I haven't heard back from them, so I take that as a sign they're probably not coming. And sometimes they do, sometimes they
Yeah.
don't, because none of them live close.
No,
So it would have
no.
to be a travel gear. But Charles and Alice Fisher's family is going to be here
Great. Good.
as well.
Great.
So both his sons are going to be here. So I'm looking forward to having them here and seeing them again. And so that'll
Yep.
be good. And I'm hoping Regina and John
Yep.
and Vernon will be here as well.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and I think they will be.
I think they're
that's what I've
planning on
heard.
it,
So
Great.
that'll be great. That'll be really fun. I
Yeah.
think. So hope you all can come Saturday. And don't forget about the CNA graduation
Yes.
next
Yes.
next Wednesday,
Wednesday.
Yes.
at 11 o'clock. That's going to be a really good one too. And that's a feel-good moment. And a lot of times we have our CNA grads, some of them will actually come up and talk about, what this has meant to them. That is really, that's a nice little touch your
It
heart
is,
type
it
thing
is.
too. So.
And we've already hired some out of the class.
Yeah, we think out of the 17, we're going to hire at least half of them, if not a little bit more.
Terrific.
Yep.
That's just an
it's
amazing
great.
program. It's terrific.
It's very good. So we're excited. All right, great show, you guys. Except for the distraction, it was a great show.
Yeah, it was a
No,
great
that was kind of good too.
You kind of enjoyed that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
I'll let him know.
All right, until next week. We love you all. Hope to see you Saturday. Thanks for watching in today. See ya.
Bye-bye.